Now we are basically we have ready the second speaker, who is Stefan.
Hi.
Hi, Stefan. Hi, Stefan. I will make a very short introduction because we have 30 minutes. That's not much time. So Stefan will have very short introduction presentation about his work and about what he's doing. And basically, I can say he's aerospace engineer who worked with drones. Now is working as the Avionics architecture or architecture designer or developer. And hopefully, because I am very keen to see it, and I am from the same field originally, so I'm also interested in this lecture, Stefan, and hopefully we will have enough time to answer all the questions. And so please, Stefan, tell us what's your dream and how did you make it?
Right. So first of all, I'd like to thank the organizer of Rise and Shine of this event for giving me this chance of presenting myself, giving insights about my career, and to hopefully try to maybe inspire new young students or young professionals in their field of expertise. Right. So basically, I started my career 6 years ago in Romania. I work at the beginning as a maintenance engineer for the Romanian police department there. And now I worked also. Meanwhile, I worked for Airbus for 8 months as a requirements engineer. I was handling the requirements and doing some certifications, airworthiness certification topics, and designing new architectures for some of their new helicopters. Right. So let's go a little bit ahead with my presentation. So from my education, I did, as I said, I started the Technical Military Academy in Romania. I did there my bachelor thesis. I was a military student. And during my studies also, I had the possibility to do an Erasmus scholarship. I was basically elaborating my bachelor thesis in Barcelona at Universitat de Catalunya, developing a software that will have simulate an autopilot for a quadcopter. So that was a very interesting experience for me. So I will definitely encourage all the students that still has the possibility to do an Erasmus scholarship to do it, because that could really help your perspective about your career and inspire you furthermore and allowing you to have other career dreams. Then I did also in Romania while I also started to work as a military engineer, and I was very fortunate that after 1.5 years after I started my job, they allowed me to do another internship, this time for my master. And I chose also Barcelona because I liked very much that city, but this time I was doing a research scholarship, so the research Erasmus scholarship, and I was working during that period for a Catalan startup called Hemav. They were designing some drones back then to use in the Saharan desert against the Saharan locust. So that was also a very interesting project that I was very proud to be part of. They were pretty pleased with my activity. And yeah, at the end of that project, they proposed me to remain there. They even wanted to provide me a PhD scholarship from the Spanish state part, but due to the fact that I was a military engineer and I had a contract with the Romanian state for at least 10 years, I couldn't follow their proposal, even though I liked that very much. So after my studies, I continued my my first job as a maintenance engineer. So during my maintenance engineer years, I work on helicopters like that one from the picture. That's Mi-17. It's a Russian helicopter. We also had, as I previously said, or the police department has some Airbus helicopters. And working as a maintenance engineer was very interesting job, but nevertheless pretty difficult, because as a maintenance engineer, you have to check all the maintenance tasks performed by the technical teams that are under your surveillance. And at the end of the technical work that are done for a helicopter, you have to sign everything and to certify that everything was done correctly. And that's quite a huge responsibility. Basically, you are responsible if everything happens during a flight and you are for instance, I'm an avionics engineer. So if everything happens with radio systems, with the transponder, with other avionics systems, I'm the one that has to respond in the end. But the cool thing was that I was able to also perform some flights. Was very nice to fly in a helicopter. Was an experience that I don't think I'll have now the chance to enjoy it or to experience it anymore, because I'm not a military engineer anymore. But yeah, nevertheless, was very interesting to fly above mountains, and yeah, quite cool, I would say. So I was pretty fortunate with this job, but again, was a pretty difficult job. So then, yeah, these are some pictures. Here I was, as a military engineer, already doing some exams, because you have to do medical exams and also theoretical exams periodically. And this is a picture from the hangar. This is my team at the end of working difficult week. You can see that we are pretty relaxed here. The guys are starting to make jokes. These dudes are already changed their clothes. Yeah, so there were some nice times also. After 4 years there, I decided to follow a career in aerospace abroad. So I started to apply for jobs abroad, and I was accepted by Altran, that has some projects at that time with Airbus. For me, working for Airbus was a dream, and it still is. Because I was providing maintenance services for Airbus helicopters, and then I had the chance to work directly for Airbus. So that was something big for me. And here, this is my team for Airbus. All these guys from this picture are engineers, and this is the picture that they took for us at the company's event at the end of the year, at the beginning of this year, before Corona. Yeah, happier moments. So yeah, basically, starting with September 2019 until May 2020, I work as an avionics architect engineer for Airbus. It's the abbreviation for software and new design department. So I had the chance to work with some pretty smart engineers for Airbus. I had the possibility to learn a lot from them in terms of designing new electrical architecture. I had the tasks, for instance, at some point to design a new electrical connection for a camera that they wanted to add at the anti-torque rotor, the rotor at the end of the helicopter, and the pilot could see the image on his flight display during the flight to see that everything is all right. So yeah, that was also a pretty interesting experience for me. But sadly, at the end of May, due to the Corona crisis and the financial crisis that now all the aeronautical industry is facing it, they canceled our collaboration, and then Altran founded another projects for me. There were projects more related to it, managing different tasks and evaluating other projects. I'm quite happy now that I just won another project in Altran, but I might change the industry. So I might work now for the automotive industry, performing some tasks related with as a function owner for another client from the automotive industry. I can't yet develop the name of the client because it's still confidential. But yeah, I'm pretty excited that now I'll have the chance to switch industries. Ever since I was a student, Formula One, for instance, as a car competition was very interesting for me, and I was watching the competition more or less being interested by the new technical updates that the team brought for their cars, because basically Formula One, it's the pinnacle of the motorsports, and basically when they design those very fast cars, they apply the same aerodynamical principles that they are using when the other companies design aeronautical aircrafts, but they apply the same aeronautical principles in trying to get the reverse effect. For instance, when an aircraft is take off, that vehicle has to generate lift. And at the same time, Formula One car, especially in the fast corners, it has to generate downforce to stay as close to the ground as possible, enabling them to be quite stable during fast corners. So yeah, my passion for cars, for racing cars, comes from here. And now that I will have the chance to work for a client from the automotive industry, it's quite a challenge, and I hope I will do a good job there. Okay, so let's moving forward. Yeah, because in the last slide I was mentioned the V model. So basically, the V model is the way in which an activity of developing new aircrafts or new products is splitted, and I was responsible. I was working in these two fields: requirements and architecture, and system verification and validation. So I had to analyze all the requirements coming from all the requirements that they were defined by the authorities before the aircraft was because before the helicopter started to be produced. I had to analyze and to validate these requirements, and then to design new architecture. I had to forward my work to my boss. They were my bosses. They were also analyzing my work, and then at the end, I had to here in the system verification and validation section, I had to check if they agreed with my work, or I have to redo everything again. This clarification is just for the audience to understand better how the V model design is working. In my case, it was for an aeronautical company, but the same principles could be applied also in the automotive industry for a car designer company. Right. So I was thinking that could be quite useful for someone to receive career tips, for someone who has started his career or it's about to start his career. So basically, if you are trying to do another career, or like in my case, I tried to change my career to start working for a private company, you should first elaborate your catchy CV. And by catchy, I mean not a very common CV in which you are stating all your studies, work, and so on. Because I want to provide some insights, and also because I also try to apply it for other jobs, I know now that usually a recruiter needs only 3 to 10 seconds to read a CV, So as a recruiter, an HR specialist or whatever, he has already seen thousands maybe of CVs. So the one that really stands out are the one that are done in a more interesting way. Of course, your CV should also contain the basic informations like the ones that could be useful for the job you applied. So this could be also, this is the first step that someone should follow when it wants to start a career for a private company. Then you should research your future employer. I mean, you should go to forums, try to read about it, try to understand how your employer is working, try to understand if it's a serious employer or not. This will be the second step that you should do in order to get a good job. Then prepare yourself for the interviews. Try to foresee what questions might arise. Try to summarize your work in a very few statements, but some statements that could contain the essence of what you did before. Try to do your best at the interview. Assuming that you get to have the interview, try to do your best. Remain positive. And in the end, negotiate your salary based on your skills, experience, and market salary level. You should also. This depends on the recruitment phase in which you are. Sometimes maybe it's better to state from the beginning what salary you are looking for, because from what I've learned from other colleagues, when they have too high expectations salary, then they could follow all these steps before, and then at the last step to be rejected, and that could be really frustrating, and you could really lose some time. Now, if someone would be interested to follow an aeronautical career or an engineering career, I could recommend you to follow some EASA licensing courses. B1, this is for the guys responsible for the fuselage and or all the hardcore compounds. And then B2, Part 66 is for the specialists coming from the electrical side. I know that there are also some companies in the Czech Republic also that can provide this type of trainings. So if you are really looking for something into that, you should do a research on your own, and you can find more information on the EASA website following this link. EASA is the European authority that regulates how the flight should be performed and what an engineer should know and what the technician should be capable of doing. And then if you are really interested in my field of expertise, you can have a better insight of the fields if you are maybe reading these books about safety, airworthiness, the standards that are used in aeronautical fields right now for designing hardware and software, requirements for new type of aircrafts. And these requirements are also are also applicable in case of drones. Maybe you have heard there are so many companies that now they try to develop their products for instance, provide in the future a flying taxi like Uber of the sky. These are a few German companies that are trying to do this, but they have to follow now a very strict process of getting their products to be certificated, and it's not that easy because flying drones above cities, it's still very complicated at this level, and it will be a tremendous work to have their product certified. But nevertheless, they're pretty optimistic about that. It is a field of the future, and who knows, probably in 6 or 7 years from now, you can use a drone to travel from one end to another, from in one big city like Berlin, or in States, New York, and so on. And then if you are interested in following coding career, there are so many sites like Udemy, Pluralsight, Code Academy, Coursera, and so on. You can have here so many courses. Some of them are free courses. For instance, I started to do a course on machine learning because this is a very interesting topic for the future also. And there is a course on Coursera on machine learning, quite good, provided by Stanford University. So if you like to, you have graduated the university or you are passionate about coding, maybe you could take a look on this site in order to enhance your skills. And then everything that's related with engineering, especially in Germany, usually uses MATLAB products. The guys from MathWorks were pretty kind to provide me 2.5 months of free trials. I get to try all their products like Simulink, MATLAB, Stateflow. And yeah, these products usage is very popular, as I said, in all the engineering fields. So definitely to have some MATLAB knowledge could help you to get a better job, and also to be part of a very interesting project, like for instance, to design an autopilot system for a drone. You have the possibility to simulate all the blocks in Simulink, and basically the bigger companies are usually using these products.
Okay, Stefan, maybe we can shortly go to end of your presentation and start with questions, if you like.
Yeah, sure. This is my final slide. So yeah, okay. If there are questions, I'll be more than happy to answer them.
Okay, yeah, you could do your more time. You know, that was only a small note that we can go on, and maybe there are more interesting questions from the people who are listening. I can sign all of what you said. I have been on Erasmus myself, and also recommend to everybody to use it. And also what you said about MATLAB, yeah, that's correct. We also learn it in the engineering at the university, and it's used in many various companies. And one site information for people who like drones. There is a very nice, very cool, and very new company in Prague building industrial drones, which are like 3 meters long.
Oh,
it's like only 5 years old, maybe. So also in Czech there are possibilities, and despite the fact we are a small country, we have quite many small companies that produce equipments for big companies like Airbus, Boeing, or Sikorsky. So yes, it's possible even in Czech. So we have first 2 questions.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, and thank you for the presentation, Stefan. It was very detailed. We jumped to the second, whatever. Where do you see the advantages of the machine learning for the aircraft industry?
Okay, so first I would like to apologize for my emotions. It was my first occasion to publicly speaking about my career, so I had some emotions. Some things didn't quite work well as I expected. But now let's go to Jury's question. Right. So for instance, machine learning could be used in the future, and they already started to using this. Airbus is already starting to use machine learning for their Airbus City, their new full autonomous drone. It could be used in allowing the drone or the drone basically to learn to fly by itself, to learn the flying maneuvers like hovering, staying at a certain point and remaining there, or perhaps to follow a certain route that programmer could insert in the drone system, and then apply some detect and avoid algorithms. For instance, could be some areas in a city that should be avoided, and then the drone applying machine learning techniques and machine learning procedure know by itself to bypass those zones. Yes, and this is one example. And then again, machine learning could be used in the landing system, to allowing the drone to perform on a full autonomous landing, safe landing, receiving all the informations from the sensors, and then starting to interpret them, like the speed, how much they should adjust, the system should adjust the speed in order to allow the machine to have a safe landing.
Okay, we have, thank you. Understand. I hope Easy, who put the question, also got it and it's answered.
Okay.
Slightly before, Ren was asking that it's very long, but basically she's saying that she heard that in Airbus are very nice and kind people. How is it possible in such a big company, which is kind of like corporate? And what changes during Corona? Do you know something about it?
Well, yeah, but basically Airbus it's a big company, and the Corona crisis forced them to have so many big financial losses. So they started to adjust their budget and to prioritize their projects. For instance, this project of the future Airbus City had been put on hold in order to allow their personnel to focus on the project that they already have running, like developing and manufacturing helicopters. The things are not good right now in the whole aeronautical company, and Airbus, as Boeing, as aircraft supplier, aircraft has they had stood on the ground for such a long period now. So basically these companies, a large part of their revenues come from the maintenance services that they provide to different countries, to different governments. When the aircraft don't fly, well, they don't receive, they can't perform their services, they can't be paid for what they know to do, they can't provide maintenance, they can't manufacture new types of helicopters or planes. And I think that you already know that the aeronautical company has took a really big hit due to the Corona crisis.
And what about the first part of the question, that how the big corporate like Airbus keep on a good atmosphere and like kindness between the people?
Well, this is something related more with the manager, with someone who has to coordinate the activity of a department. And usually they use for those roles people with big experience, that they worked with people for several times. They have experience. They trained them to interact good with people. For instance, our manager for Airbus used to organize from time to time bowling evenings or football evenings, something like that. Obviously before Corona, because after that everything has been changed. We are living basically now in another world.
Got it. I have one question from me. I know that there is one big problem in the technology companies. Like if you grow as a specialist, like you, Avionics engineer or some other, many times happen that you are basically like promoted to the manager position, even if you don't have the soft skills and the skill for leading the people. So do you know how the companies in aerospace industry like cope with this issue?
They can push you sometimes to managing functions, but yeah, that's depend on you. That depends on how you interact with your bosses. Depends on your performances also. For instance, I had the possibility to meet another manager, top manager for Airbus, because they had this project. Renew the age of Airbus, because the majority of their employees are pretty old, quite close to the retirement age. And we were having a friendly discussion, and he told me, here at Airbus Helicopters, we are not selling so many helicopters like we used to do, and now the managers have a pretty difficult task in trying to managing everything and adjust. And this is one of the reasons why the big companies, also in aeronautical industry, but in car producing industries as well, started to work with subcontracting companies. Because it's pretty easy to hire 10 or 5 persons for one project that will last 1 year, and then it's not your business anymore. Of course, they have to pay commissions and they have to pay more for that period of time, but in doing that, they don't have to have a permanent employee. So they know that this project will last 1 year. We can afford this budget for this project. Okay, let's leave the subcontracting company to do it for us.
Thank you. Do we have any more question? We don't have yet anything in the comments. So maybe one from me. Stefan, once for all. Can helicopter without working engines, not take off, land on the ground safely?
Well, that's a very debatable topic. I mean, there are yes, for older helicopters with not so many technical systems, this procedure is called auto rotation. When one engine started you have a fire on one of the engines, then you should slightly decrease the speed of the main rotor and try to find a safety place for landing. Is something very risky. It's something that doesn't happen quite often, and usually it happens perfectly in the movies. But there are some Red Bull pilots that they're doing aeronautical stunts. They managed to perform some really good auto rotation maneuvers, and they wrecked the helicopter while landing, but they managed to keep them alive and safe. So it's possible to do it, yes, but it's a very difficult maneuver, and you need pilots with a very big level of experience, and also lucky pilots.
Nice. So what's your next dream?
Well, I'm really looking forward to start my career in automotive industry, to work for a big client of my employer, and I would like to design an interface there for the car, to do some really cool features in for that car, to maybe being able to, at some point in the future, if not for my current project, if I remain in the automotive industry, maybe to start implement some of the technical systems that they use nowadays in Formula One. For instance, the control augmentation system that Mercedes is using this year in Formula One is the system that allows the driver, by pushing the wheel while driving, to change the angle of the front wheels. and by doing that, the car could become more stable in the corners. And of course, they are doing that in Formula One because they are taking corners at a very high speed. But for instance, in our daily life, could be useful as a drivers to be able to do that on a very icy road.
Understand. Okay, Stefan, I have to say that we don't have much more time. Basically, 1 second. That's one.
Okay.
And so now it's the time to thank you for your presentation, for answers. And if you like, you can join our networking or stay with us for the next speaker. Might be interested for you because it's about software engineering in the technologies. So might be interesting for you. And we will start networking around 8. So it's up to you if you 8:15. Sorry, 8:15. So
okay.
If you like, you can join.
Yeah,
and,
I will.
Thank you for your presentation and good luck for your dream to build equipment for a Formula One car. Enjoy and good luck.
Yeah, thank you very much for your advice, and thank you very much for this opportunity. I'm looking forward to view the next presentation.
Thank you. Bye.